Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Unit Lost. I am Stylosa, and you probably remember this tweet I made yesterday. And if you don't, then follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming. But you probably are aware of what happened yesterday with Jeff on the forum. So, in case you don't, let me just give you a little bit of a recap. And the reason why I want to cover this is because there's been another response, and this really does highlight what it's like to be in the public eye, because I can completely relate to this, especially when you get loads and loads of feedback. Anyway, so this user by the name of Sharky Marky put up a thread and said, "Does Blizzard even play their own game?" Enough said. Now, when you read this, it's like, what? This is somebody who's clearly tilted, somebody who's just gone like totally mental and just wants to take their frustrations out on the forum, hoping, I guess, that somebody from Blizzard sees it. Well, somebody from Blizzard did see it, and it happened to be Big Daddy Jeff. And this is what he said. He goes, we play the game a lot. Looking at your profile, I've won approximately 800 more games than you have. That's not counting the daily internal playtests I'm in, the time spent in the alpha and beta. Did you have a specific question here, or are you just trolling? So this, it made me laugh, right? Because I can relate to this in a very, like, almost in an uncanny way, because that there is a burn you give somebody when you want to tell them to F off, or like, are you, like, basically something bad has happened to you, right? So maybe in my case, I'm sitting there and I'm making a video and the render fails, right? Or the video's corrupt, and I'm like, oh my god. And then I look across at Twitter and I see a comment and it's like, oh, Star, your last video was so bad. And I'd be like, what are you talking about? You know, make some sort of response back to them, like a snarky response, not like a straight up like aggressive response to them. It's like, it's almost like an arsehole comment. That's what I'd say, right? It's like a burn, but it's like, yeah, whatever, mate. You know, you want to take me on? Let's go. It's not very professional though, is it? That's the thing. And now with me, I get tons of comments every day. I think the YouTube channel gets like 10,000 comments a day. There's like, I don't even know how many messages that get sent to me on Twitter. It's very high volume, so you see a lot of these messages coming in, and it is a very crazy thing that your brain does. You always see the negative comments. But anyway, you can imagine Jeff probably was in some sort of, I don't know, heated meeting or something like that, and he's came out of it and he's looked at this and he's like, what is this? What? Oh, I'm not having this. Like, this guy can get stuff. Anyway, what has happened? Well, there's actually been another post. This is why I'm making a video, because it's very interesting. This is because it shows you like how Jeff realizes what he's done, and how it's not really a great idea to put people's names out into the public unless they're already public figures. Like, I'll make videos and I'll say, oh, Jeff said this, right? Jeff basically is a public figure with Overwatch, right? And the same thing people will do with me. You know, Sty's said this, Sty's on the forums, blah, 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 and all this. It's fine, because that's what we do, right? We're out there making content for people to consume. We've put our names, our faces forward, and that's the deal, right? But a lot of other people, they're not like that. You know, these trolls and these people who just are really frustrated playing Overwatch, that go and post on the forums. And in fact, this is why I've got a policy on the channel where I don't show toxic behavior. This is why I can't really show any of my competitive games recently, because there've been really toxic behavior, like, and bad stuff like that. But I just always put it down to, maybe these guys are just having a bad day. They're probably not like that in the real world, so I really shouldn't put their name out there for, you know, hundreds of thousands of people to see and then go on a witch hunt against them, because that's not what I want to do. Anyway, there's been a post, right, and this is on Reddit, and this was at the top of Reddit, which was quite surprising, and it basically says this: Jeff Kaplan and the rude forum poster are all good now. And this actually is the guy. This is Sharky Marky SD, and he goes on to say that, like, he wanted to contact Jeff to say sorry, and explain why he was being a bit of a troll and all of this stuff. But actually, the customer service representative reached out to Jeff, and then Jeff responded. Now, I'm not going to put this on the screen, but I'll read it off pretty quickly, because it's a fairly big post. But just so I'll link to it as well in the description. But I'm just going to quickly go through it, because it's very interesting. Hi, Sharky Marky. Customer service representative Califrax just contacted me with the details of your ticket. I felt compelled to reach out to you directly for two reasons. One, apologise. Two, thank you for the feedback. So first, I'm sorry for calling you out publicly on our forums. It was unprofessional and lacked good judgment on my part. Yeah, it did really. To explain, and not an excuse, what I did, I was simply feeling worn down at the moment. My team and my company care so much about feedback, so much so that one of the company values, which is bronzed around our orc statue in the centre of the campus, is every voice matters. We're constantly taking critical feedback, and as we should be. On a personal level, I get frustrated and annoyed when people take shots at us without actually stating what their issue is. You see, that's natural. Like, I deal with that. Like, it's funny because, like, I am actually very well, I'm equipped very good to deal with this, because I've dealt with it for years, like getting smashed to this level. Like Jeff, I guess it's a relatively new thing, to be honest, with the Overwatch stuff being like so heavily the focus of it. Although Jeff did have a pretty colourful history with Tigol Bitties, I believe his name was. Google that, ladies and gentlemen. You'll find a very interesting forum post, especially from his EverQuest days. In fact, maybe I'll link to that in the description below. But anyway, I get that and I understand that. How are we supposed to act on feedback if the feedback is nothing but an insult? We get tons of feedback each day that we both agree and disagree with, and we love hearing it. But it's super demoralising to us to simply get insulted. To imply that we don't play our game or that we don't love our game is just straight up false. You see, like, I can see similarities with that and like YouTube, right? People might attack me for just no reason, like, and you have to think to yourself, look, it's just the internet troll. Just be chill, I guess. I don't know. Our team cares so deeply for what we've created and equally, if not more so, for our players. I am really sorry I replied the way I did, and I hope it hasn't brought any unwanted attention from other players to you. If anyone is harassing you, please let me know. Secondly, thanks for providing such detailed feedback on Widowmaker. I know people hate when I say this, but we really are keeping a close eye on her. Widowmaker is one of those heroes whose usefulness greatly ebbs and flows depending on the current accepted meta as well as the map pool. Lately, we're seeing a rise in Widow play. We're starting to see Widows in the top 1,000, and she's getting more and more use in pro play. The resurgence of Pharah has also led to a rise in the prevalence of Widowmaker play. Your hook suggestions are interesting and not difficult for us to implement. We do want to be careful though. Widow should have some counters. I know as much as Widow players hate Winston and D.Va diving them, that's kind of their job. And we've had states of the meta in both live and beta where Widow was too dominant and the resultant gameplay was not very fun because of the ability to one-shot kill heroes. Hello, Roadhog Nerf. We've been extremely careful with this, so there is some counterplay in the mix. Regarding Venom Mind, when we first implemented it, we did significant damage. I mean, I'm not going to read through this because basically what he's saying here is replying to the other, or he's giving this person direct feedback based off the other posts they've made on the forum about Widowmaker. Like, goes on to talk about Jeff, like the main hero designer. He plays a lot of Widowmaker, and yeah, he gets what he's saying, blah, blah, blah. And then he says, anyway, Sharky Marky, I'm really sorry. I shouldn't have used a dedicated and loyal player like you to make a point, and you didn't deserve that. I hope you forgive me and realise that my actions are a reflection of my own personal flaws and don't speak directly for the awesome folks I work with here at Blizzard. All the best to you, Jeffrey. Now, the thing is, that last comment there sums it up, right? It doesn't matter what Jeff thinks. It doesn't matter if Jeff thinks we're all a bunch of wankers, right? Jeff is representing Blizzard, and Blizzard is a company, a public company, right? He can't really go around and do stuff like that. Although I still maintain that the comment he made was pretty funny. It wasn't like a direct attack on the guy, but obviously it can have ramifications, especially because this guy started to reach out and all of those other issues and stuff like that. I mean, if this guy didn't actually do anything, I guess they would have just moved on. Maybe somebody at Blizzard said to Jeff, you can't really say that on the forums, or maybe Jeff sat there and thought, shit, what have I done? It's not like I can delete the post because it's everywhere anyway, so I'm going to have to do something about this. But yeah, it is a bit unprofessional, but it's good in a way because it shows that he's normal, right? You don't want some like robot who's just making robotic responses, and he's not like that anyway. And everybody I've met from the Overwatch team are not like that anyway. And even the stuff that you see publicly often when they do interviews, stuff like that, it's very down to earth. Like I remember the Sombra stream I did from BlizzCon with Tim Ford. And it was just like, it was like normal. Like, it was like you're just sitting there with somebody who plays the game. And that's cool, but just happens to be involved in development of the game. It's not like some robot sitting there giving you like answers like I'd imagine like other game companies would be like. It was very down to earth, and it was awesome. And that's a great thing about Blizzard. Anyway, then he does go on to offer a little bit of a gift to this guy. So it says, P.S. I'm not sure if you're a World of Warcraft player, but please enjoy a year subscription on me. But I'm not putting it here, lol. If you don't play WoW, have fun making a WoW player's day. Which is pretty funny because I've been subscribed to World of Warcraft since Legion came out, and I've never played it. Like, I haven't really played Legion at all. I bought it. What am I doing? Like, what? I play too much Overwatch. 5 Overwatch accounts, whatever. I replied to this. I really cannot put into words how appreciative I am that you took time out of your busy day to respond to me about this situation. This is the response from the actual guy himself, which I'm not going to read this off. I'll put a link, as I said, in the description below where you guys can go and check this out, which I think is it's very interesting, right? You know, it's very, very interesting. But basically, the guy in his response said, Jeff, like, I prefer if you give me the Widowmaker pre-order skin. And Jeff basically said, oh, check your account, you should have that skin now. And that's basically that, which is great. So yeah, all in all, it's a very interesting situation, this is, and it just goes to show you the way game development has changed and the way that like things are changing. Like, if you watch my video I made yesterday, which was about trolls, and it was about ranked play. It wasn't really well, it did contain a lot of stuff on trolls, but it was about ranked play in Overwatch and sort of the mentality people have got. And people get very frustrated online, and I don't know why they do this, but it happens in literally every competitive game, to be honest. They get very frustrated and they're willing to cause hassle and, I guess, pain in a way to other people on their team just to sort of make themselves feel better, when necessarily they wouldn't do that in real life. So it does get really frustrating on that kind of level. But yeah, it looks like Jeff has killed a guy on the forums, and then, well, he's had to do his time for the murder that he's committed on the forums. Now, will we see Jeff still active on the forums? Yeah, I presume we will. Because I don't think, like, if you added all of this up, I don't think it's actually a negative response from the community. I mean, I thought it was funny. When I read that comment of Jeff, I was like, that's, what? Okay. I mean, that's why I made the tweet, right? It was funny to me, but you've also got to understand, like, that guy's username, you can imagine him going into games and people be like, oh yeah, you're the guy that said this to Jeff, or you got wrecked by Jeff, or you wrestled with Jeff, now you got to prepare for death, and all of that stuff. Like, I can relate to this as well, because my names, so like Stylosa, Spitfire, Steak Bake, and various other names, which I don't think I'm ever going to tell you about, which again is why I don't really use any competitive footage on the channel, because the one account that is my highest account, I don't want to just give that, it's my private place to go, ladies and gentlemen, let's be honest, right? But yeah, when people see Stylosa in a game, it's like, oh yeah, it's Sty. Yeah, let's either troll him or, like, I don't know, just lose our minds because it's Stylosa in the game. I actually spoke to Jeff about this, which was pretty interesting, during the anniversary event, and I said to him, when we were sitting in the lobby for the game to start, to show off the new maps, they were like, well, why are you not called Stylosa? And because I was on Spitfire, and I was like, well, oh yeah, because I have to change the name of my accounts because it's unplayable on Stylosa. And he actually laughed, Jeff did. He was like, oh yeah, no, I get that, I totally get that. So yeah, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Stylosa, and this has been Unit Lost, and it's been a bit of a down-to-earth video on the way Jeff conducted himself in the forums and sort of the fallout from that. And we should honestly be really happy that this is a person that's involved in the game that we're playing, because it's just normal like the rest of us, and that's what you want to see. You don't want some robot. Alright guys, you can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming. Subscribe to the channel if you love this stuff. And you can join the Discord, which is discord.gg/UnitLost, which is a beautiful place you can go to and form groups for the new Overwatch contender style stuff, or open division stuff, and even just get somebody to play with on ladder. Awesome. Form a duo. It's great. Alright guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Toodaloo.